Thank you, Julie. Quick sector check for you. Industrial's really taking it on the chin here. The only sector right now looking like it's seeing any upside happens to be utilities as people run for that safety play. All right, we want to move on to the big story at this hour. We're keeping an eye on Target, an easy target. 1/3 of Americans had their credit card or personal information stolen in the Target hack just last year. Bloomberg Businessweek did an extensive investigation on just exactly how this happened and asked whether Target could have done more to stop it. Here's a look at how it all happened from Businessweek's Brendan Greeley.
The first time the public heard that Target had been hacked was on December 18th, 2013, when a blogger revealed that the company was investigating a massive breach. But the breach itself actually began sometime before then. So what did Target know? And when did they know it? Hackers began capturing credit card data on November 27th. 3 days later, a sophisticated security tool made by FireEye spotted the malware. Target had paid $1.6 million for FireEye because of its ability to detect hacking in real time. Soon, a security worker in India saw the FireEye alarm and sent it on to the Minneapolis Operations Center. The alert is overlooked. On December 2nd, security tools detect another version of the malware. This red flag also goes undetected. Had Target acted on the alerts at this point, they would have been able to prevent one of the biggest data thefts in history. Instead, for more than 2 weeks, the hacker software collected credit card information and bounced it around the globe to places like Moscow and Odessa, Ukraine. On December 12th, federal law enforcement notifies Target that they are seeing suspicious activity involving card payments at its stores. The retailer hires an independent team to run a forensic investigation, and on December 15th, Target confirms it's been hacked and removes the malware. Target issues its first public statement about the data theft on Thursday, December 19th, revealing that up to 40 million cards may have been compromised. 22 days later, on January 10th, Target notifies customers that in addition to the credit card theft, personal information for up to 70 million customers has also been stolen, affecting as many as 1/3 of American consumers.
Okay, joining me right now to talk about the implications for U.S. retailers' largest ever data breach, we have Faye Landis, Crowd & Company Equity Research Managing Director. We have Dune Lawrence, Bloomberg News, who helped work on this story along with another team of reporters, and Theresa Payton, former White House Chief Information Officer. Great to have all of you here. Dune, I'll start with you because you reported this. Really, really amazing to think that it could have been easily prevented. The software itself could have actually stopped the intruders in their tracks.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, what's amazing about this thing is you start off thinking, oh my gosh, it's a mystery. We don't know what happened. And then you realize when you start digging into it and you start talking to security folks and all the people, you know, around the investigation that in fact the data was out there sitting on these. So the hackers,
it's human error basically, right? Because they turned off the switch that would have allowed for the automatically sort of firewalling this.
Yes, I mean, so they had this product which could have deleted the malware without any intervention. It saw the malware, it could have deleted it. Now, that's not that, you know, with a big company, I can see why you'd want your team to make the final decision. But you have to be able to depend on that team to catch it, right?
Right.
And that's where the human failure was. That, you know, it was escalated from India up to the Security Operations Center in Minneapolis, and we don't know exactly why, but we know that it just did not get the attention it needed to. And then all the credit card numbers got out,
and look, it had a big effect on the company and the company's sales thereafter because, you know, logically, as a customer, you think twice about going to Target these days. And we saw that reflected, Faye, in the company's sales, down 46% from a similar period the year before. What's going to be the overall toll that this takes on Target?
Well, as an analyst, I look at it, I see the toll on two fronts. First of all, from a consumer perception standpoint, and we've already seen reductions in traffic to the store following the breach and following the announcements of the breach. And once someone stops going to a store, it's hard to capture them back.
Yeah, we saw that with JCPenney, right?
Exactly. They get out of the habit, so it's not a good thing. And it's not as if Target by any means lacks for competition, and we see Amazon making greater and greater inroads there. Second of all, this could cost Target a lot of money. They said on their most recent
Lawsuits alone, right?
They said on their most recent conference call that the dollars involved, and this is their term, are not estimable. Not estimable does not, first of all, it generally doesn't mean a low number, but it means that you probably won't know they won't know for a long time, and that could constrain them in lots of ways. And the share buyback, which is important for the stock, and just investing in very needed activities. I think they've been underinvesting in a lot of segments of their business, including. It seems like personnel.
Right, security.
It seems like personnel.
But, you know, Theresa, one of the things that I keep coming back to, and you know, this story points it out, they had the ability to notify customers earlier. They didn't. And by the way, this wasn't the first time this happened at Target. It happened a couple years ago as well. Should the company have a duty to tell its customers? I mean, if your credit card information has been taken, where's the Consumer Protection Bureau in all this?
You're right. I mean, it's really concerning the lag time that it took, not only as the tool was sending off alarms and the employees were not following up on the alarms in the Minneapolis center, but then the time to notify. Now, a lot of times in defense of businesses, when they do find out they have a breach, and in this case, they found out from an external source, not from an internal source, they're trying to figure out what happened before they notify the public, because it's tough to say to customers, we had a breach, we don't know much else. But at the same time, I think if they had gone through the tools, they had two sets of tools actually warning them that they had a problem. They would have seen when the problem occurred and been able to give more information more quickly during a very stressful time.
Because, you know, look, this happened at Target. It also, by the way, happened at Neiman Marcus. They had a security breach right around the same period. And it could probably happen to anyone who's not vigilant, who's not, you know, going through the process of making sure that that everything's as it should be. I want to go back to Dune, who reported on all of this, because this is just fascinating. I mean, what these thieves actually do with the credit card information. A lot of this is originating out of Eastern Europe. Tell us what happens to our credit card numbers once they're actually stolen.
Well, from the reporting, I mean, they basically end up in this sort of vast, it's called Carter Underground. And there are all these websites. In fact, we visited with a former law enforcement guy who runs his own digital forensics company, and he took us on to one of these sites. And it's amazing. It's so user-friendly. I mean, if I wanted to go on, if I could get a credential, right. If I wanted to go on, I could buy a credit card and then just like go and buy something. I mean, or you can buy thousands and thousands of credit cards. And it's so, you know, you can, let's say.
And what does it cost?
Let's say I have a, you know, when I was looking at the pages, they're around $12 for just a regular credit card. But, you know, it goes up, and you should just see the list of the number of the different kinds of cards. You know, it goes from like a Lowe's gift card to, you know, Amex, you know, Blue for Business. I mean, it's just like, it's really user-friendly, and you can really pick and choose.
In other words, this is big business for these hackers.
I think it is, and it's very easy to monetize. I mean, how much, you have to think, like, how much money did it cost these people to break into Target? And then how much money can they make selling these cards? I mean, I think you can make a lot of money, and it's, you know, it's hard to catch them.
So ultimately, you know, what's the solution to all this? I mean, let me go back to you, Theresa. I mean, do we need a PIN card system such as what you see in Europe?
Well, chip and PIN is a great first step. One thing I remind people is cyber criminals go where the action is. And so right now, they've got really easy pickings with our current credit card system. But as we move to chip and PIN, and there's greater volume on chip and PIN, they're going to find ways around that. So in addition to that great next step, which is the chip and PIN technology, one thing businesses must do is change the conversation and say, when we are breached, not if we are breached. And when we are breached, how quickly will we respond? Which means they need to be practicing a digital disaster. So it would have been great if Target in October had practiced an event just like this, so that when it actually happened, they would just go into autopilot and be ready.
Yeah, you know, maybe the one thing that this teaches every business is that they need to be doing that, and they need to be investing more in security, because look, something like this can really wipe you out, and they're going to have many lawsuits to come over the next several years, along with a lot of customers that they're going to have to try and win back. I want to thank you, Faye, Dune, terrific reporting, and Theresa. Let's take a quick look here at the markets, because we're looking at an intraday low there at the S&P. You can see off roughly 25 points, a loss of 1.3%. A lot of downside here amid all these concerns right now about China, also a little concern over Ukraine and just exactly what that vote is going to look like on the 16th. Plenty of red to go around in the market right now. Coming up, everyone, the search for a missing Malaysia death continues. Why haven't investigators been able to find it? We're going to have more on the aircraft tracking technology when we return.
Bloomberg Television is sponsored by Wisdom Tree. To learn more, visit wisdomtree.com.